You are about to watch a clip from the latest episode of the Swingman podcast. You can find the podcast across all platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Drop us a follow over there. Enjoy the clip.
I did want to have a little debate of just NBA All Star Snubs in general. It can be current players, players of all time that never made an All Star game, or like players in certain years when they were snubbed of an All Star. And like we said, this affects this affects their money. So this can be. I mean, one of the obvious ones I think is Clay. I think everyone remembers the Clay interview. The Clay interview where he was denied the money because of it as well was the big kicker.
That was all NBA, wasn't it? Was that all NBA?
Oh yeah,
I
think
it
was
all
NBA towards the back end. It was actually.
Yeah.
But I think just in general of like NBA players that never made an All-Star game or particular snubs. So obviously we've got ones this year that we've had in our own Swingman one on this podcast. So there's other ones that are going to be about. Is there any that spring to mind for you?
The one that comes to my mind immediately for like all time, someone that's ever made it is Mike Conley. Especially when he was with the Grizzlies.
I thought he got one when he was.
Did he get one for the Jazz? He may have got one for the Jazz.
He got an appearance. He did 2021. Yeah, he got an All-Star.
That was his first one. Well, he should have had more.
That was
that was the only thing that I can remember.
The reason I remember that is because he was on like one of ESPN or TNT or something when they was out in All-Star weekend and they was talking to him about it. And he was like, yeah, I'm like one of the best point guards in this league and it's only just starting for me. And then ever since the All-Star one, it's kind of gone. He's still obviously like a legacy point guard.
Yeah.
He's still been good, but he's not been of an All-Star level is what we'll say for it. I think the one that always springs to mind for me that's currently still playing, and I'm not sure it'll ever happen for him now, is CJ McCollum. When he was part of that sort of Blazers run, and then he moved into the Pels, he's never really got back to anywhere near it. And I think he was like on the cusp, and then never ever got there. Is what I'd say for it. Like I mean, other ones that are go on.
I would say we both said guards in the Western Conference at that time, and when you talk about like prime Steph, prime James Harden, pretty much prime Dame as well. It was just really tough, basically, is what you can say there. Devin Booker didn't make it for ages. I think Dame made a team for quite a long time as well. And then you're saying Clay, that type of thing. So it is just, I mean, it's just rough out there in the West. But that is a shame. That is a shame for him.
Yeah, I mean, other ones that are like the big time legacy ones. You got Lamar Odom. He's always a shout that's up there. Obviously, Lamar Odom is. He's probably remembered. I would say this.
Yeah,
he's more famous for other stuff than almost is on the on the court. He's more famous for stuff off of it. But Lamar Odom was still obviously a great player. Never made All Star. Richard Jefferson never made All Star. Jason Terry. Yeah. So there's a lot of like, which you wouldn't class these as superstars, but guys that are well known within the NBA realms that never made.
Yeah, I just had a quick look through, and I actually don't think there's that many that I was like. There's no way. Like, I can't believe it. But the one that did just catch me, and George, I know you'll love this. He has had All-Star appearances. It's just there was a couple years. I think this goes to show how much people prefer offense over defense. I think there was a couple Rudy Gobert Jazz years where he got.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
he cried, didn't he? One of them. He cried when he didn't get one.
I forgot about
that. I think Draymond could have made it a couple more years than he had. Maybe. I mean, obviously, again, it's the same type of thing, and obviously that's quite tough.
Draymond suffered from how good there was of that two, and then there was the 3-man sort of setup that they had there, and then even like I remember that year when there was the 4 of them, he was kind of almost seen as not. Wasn't lucky to get in, but it was like it was about damn time he made it is the way for it. But yeah, I'd agree with you. When I was like researching some of this before I posed the question, there isn't really guys to never make an All-Star that you're like, oh my god. CJ McCollum, I was like, I feel in his Blazers and maybe at the start of his Pels time, he could have made like a wild card or like a backup side.
Yeah,
but then you say it, and
it's the guards in the West while he's had his career. It's incredible. They didn't even mention Russell Westbrook because he was out there as well.
And like I scroll down these lists, Jamal Crawford is obviously another one that is like Jamal Crawford is like a really well known guy within the NBA realm. Again, never made an All Star. Sabonis ever made All Star? Like, not obviously the one that's currently
He
playing
wasn't
now.
in for very long. I think it's more players that probably didn't make it as much as they should have, more than completely missed out. Like, I think Brad Beal probably should have made more than he did. He led the league in scoring like 2 years, and he didn't make either team, which is quite something.
Yeah, I saw another one. This was just as I quickly scrolled through. That's how I saw the Rudy one. I saw that LaMarcus Aldridge and how long it took him to get. He obviously had a lot of All-Star appearances, but it took until his 6th season. I'm just reading it now to actually get his first All-Star, despite averaging, generally the numbers he averaged for most of his career. So you can maybe chuck him in as well. But 7 All-Star appearances, so that one you're not exactly feeling sorry. So.
No, not indeed.
I think there are people that maybe should have, like Andrew Wiggins got in the starting lineup a couple of years ago, and I think that ages as. I mean, I know these are a season snapshot type of thing, but I don't think Andrew Wiggins ever had any business being in the starting lineup of an All-Star game. Personally, I think you said about the Warriors having 4 players in one. I think one year where it was the Hawks with like Horford, I think Kyle Korver, and I can't remember who the other players were. I think they had 4 players in the All-Star team.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
I can't remember if it was 4, but people do forget how good that Hawks team was. They were a 16 team at one point. So,
I know. It was a Budenholzer team. I mean, they absolutely got rinsed by LeBron in the playoffs, but they were good in the regular season.
They had Jeff Teague, Paul Millsap, Kyle Korver, and Al Horford. Yeah.
The East must have been absolutely.
Kyle Korver was a Kyle Korver was a replacement selection, so it's a technicality. There. It counts, but it's a technicality.
That's still
that is very impressive, though.
You talk about some Clay and Steph games. That while he was on the Hawks, that Kyle Korver heat check game where he hits like 4 threes in a row in the space of like 30 seconds is actually one of my favorite clips from anything.